Welcome to Help You Sponsor. In this video we are going to be going over program types, which is a new feature introduced in version 5. Here we are on our demonstration site, and if I go into a child profile, go down and click the sponsor today, you see the checkout page, which is very similar to what it was in the previous version. You have the child's name, the contribution amount, and ability to remove the child, and then either log in or complete the sponsorship. What we're going to show is a different type of sponsorship program. This sponsorship program we call Number. It's based on the number of sponsors that are required to complete a sponsorship. This is what I mean. So under Settings, General Setup, you see we have this field here, number of sponsors required to complete sponsorship. And in this program we have 2, meaning that 2 sponsors are required for a child to be completely sponsored and no longer available for more sponsorship. Hopefully that's not too confusing. There are several different options that you have in setting up this type of sponsorship. We're not going to go over those in this video. Instead, we're going to go over what the new program type that we're introducing, which is called contribution. So if you go to Manage Causes, you will see in the cause form here we have a new section called Program Type. Number, which is the default, which is, like I said, based on the number of sponsors required for full sponsorship, or contribution. This changes the program to be based on the total contribution amount to reach full sponsorship. So let's go through an example. If I were to select contribution here, then in this sponsorship amount I would enter the amount of our sponsorship program, or multiple amounts. So maybe you have different levels of sponsorship. Maybe you have a $15 sponsorship, a $25 sponsorship, and a $50 sponsorship. Those would be the 3 levels of sponsorship that a sponsor could sign up for. Now let's actually do that for our children cause. So we go down here, we're going to edit this cause by clicking the edit button. We're given the form similar to setting up a new cause. We're going to change this to contribution, and then we are going to add in our sponsorship amounts, 15, 25, and 50. Now we save those changes, and now if we go down and look, we can see that our children cause is a contribution type, and that these are the amounts that a sponsor can choose to sponsor a child. Now there's one other setup item that we need, because like I said, this is based on the monthly contributions reaching a certain threshold. So in our case, we're going to say that a child is fully sponsored when they have sponsorships that equal $100 a month. And that can be any combination of these amounts. So we're going to go into our settings and edit our children form, and we're going to add a drop-down list. This is going to be the total amount required to fully sponsor this child. So I'm just going to call this field contribution, and it's not really important what the name of the field is. What's important is the database alias. This is what's going to signal the software that this field is to be used for calculating sponsorship. So we need to call this SP_NUM. Now if you've been using Help You Sponsor for a while, you might recognize that SP_NUM is also used in the other program type. We're not going to go over that here, but in the user guide in the wiki.helpyousponsor.com, you can read about how this field is used in the number program type. Next is the select list options. Now this could be, we could have multiple options here so that we could have some children that require $100 a month, others that only require $50 a month. But in this program, we're only going to require $100 a month. Now, if I wanted to have the option, I could add other options by separating them with a comma, but we're not going to do that. We're going to set $100 a month, and that will be the default. I do not need to use this as a filter. It doesn't need to be required. It's not a name. And we don't need to view this particular field anywhere besides in the administration. So I'm going to leave that as admin only. Click add field, and now our field has been added. We see it here at the bottom. And now if I go into manage children, and if I look at any of the children in my database, I will see that there is a contribution field and it is set at 100. Now let's go back to the front end. This is where now your sponsors will have an option of what type of sponsorship they want to sign up for. Previously, we were based on numbers, so we needed 2 sponsors at $25 a month to completely sponsor Angelica. But in this case, now the sponsors are going to be able to choose how much they want to sponsor, and based on what they choose will determine how many sponsors Angelica needs in order to reach that $100 threshold that we've set. So if I refresh this page, and now I choose Angelica again, and I click sponsor today, you see in the checkout screen that now we have a drop-down list with different amounts that can be chosen for sponsorship. Now let's say you see that 15 is the default. So if the sponsor doesn't choose anything else, they will sponsor for $15 a month. Let's say I want the default to be 50. That's easy to do. We'll go back to manage causes. We'll edit our cause. We're going to just reverse this. We're going to say 50, 25, 15. We'll save our changes, return, we'll click My Selected Sponsorships. Now you see that the order has reversed and 50 is the default amount. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Hopefully that makes sense on how to set up your sponsorship program based on the contribution amount instead of the number of sponsors.